Ready to uncork something really special today?
I'm always up for that. What are we diving into?
We're talking Lebanese wine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You shared some excerpts from Vinos du Libano.
Yeah.
And honestly, I had no idea their winemaking history goes back thousands of years.
Oh, it's incredible.
Like we're talking Phoenicians.
Oh, yeah. Back to the beginning.
It's amazing.
It's really a region where cultivating grapes is, it's more than just tradition.
Right.
It's like woven into their history and culture.
It's a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, what makes Lebanon so uniquely suited to producing these incredible wines?
Well, geographically speaking, it's a really fascinating mix.
Okay.
You've got fertile valleys, mountain ranges,
Right.
and then the Mediterranean.
Oh, wow.
So you have all these microclimates all within a pretty small area.
So it's not just one type of climate or soil. You've got like this tapestry of terroir.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's really, I think, key because it allows winemakers to cultivate
Yeah.
a wider range of grape varietals.
Which is what we're talking about today.
Exactly.
So let's go beyond Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
What are some of the unique grapes we should be on the lookout for?
Okay. So when you think about Lebanon, one that should come to mind is Merwe.
Merwe.
Merwe, yeah.
Okay.
It's a red grape,
Okay.
and it's a powerhouse.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Very bold,
Okay.
structured, often has like these intense dark fruit flavors, maybe a little spice to it.
Now, is Merwe, is that connected at all to the Arabic word for manly by any chance?
You know what? It might be. I'd have to double check that.
It does have that sort of
That connotation are
does.
very strong.
So we're talking like a bold,
And we want bold, structured. Merwe's the way to go.
definitely keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about Obeda, right?
Oh, Obede, yes.
That one caught my eye.
This is one of the white wines where it's known for being very aromatic.
Okay.
So you often get like citrus blossom, green apple,
Nice.
a little bit of an herbal character.
Okay, so we've got our strong silent type, and then we've got our like elegant aromatic.
Exactly.
I feel like Lebanese winemakers really have a way of showcasing the strengths of each grape.
Yes.
But I imagine the terroir plays a huge role in all of that as well.
Absolutely.
Keep coming back to that.
Yeah.
And Vinos du Libano really highlighted the Bekaa Valley
Gaval, yeah.
and the Lebanon Mountains as being significant.
Yes. Very, very distinct.
What distinguishes these two?
Well, so the Bekaa Valley is often considered like the heart of Lebanese winemaking.
Okay.
If you can picture rolling hills,
Okay.
abundant sunshine, and then underneath all of that
Okay.
is this limestone-rich soil.
Limestone soil. Very interesting. I've heard that in other regions as well.
Yeah, and there's a good reason for it
Okay.
because it's particularly well suited for producing wines with structure and aging potential.
That's important.
And it's home to some of the most like well-known wineries in Lebanon.
Okay. Give me some names.
So you've got Chateau Moussar,
Okay.
Kafraya, and Kasara.
Okay.
So these are some of the ones that are really putting them on the map internationally.
Big names.
Yeah.
But we're contrasting that with the Lebanon Mountains.
Right. Totally different story.
Oh. So what are we talking about here? What kind of wines are coming from those vineyards?
Picture this. Instead of sun-drenched valleys, now we're climbing slopes. The air's getting cooler.
Okay.
The soil here is primarily granite-based.
Okay. Interesting.
So total contrast to the limestone.
So what does that do to the wines?
These wines are known for their elegance, their finesse,
Okay.
lighter-bodied reds, bright acidity,
Nice.
and a distinct minerality.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the whites, incredibly crisp and refreshing.
Okay.
Like if you're picturing yourself on a patio overlooking the Mediterranean,
That's the dream.
that's the wine.
That's it. Does Vinos du Libano mention any specific wineries?
Yeah. So one that you might recognize, Chateau Moussar Hotel.
Chateau Mouchard again.
They actually have vineyards in both the Bekaa Valley and the mountains.
Wow.
And then also Domaine Wardy,
Domaine Wardy. Okay.
another producer known for these really elegant mountain wines.
It sounds like Chateau Moussard's doing something right.
They are.
So I'm all about the practical side of things. I have to ask.
Yeah.
What am I eating with these Lebanese wines?
Now you're talking.
Right.
This is the pairing puzzle.
What's the one I cannot miss?
All right, close your eyes. Imagine this.
Okay, I'm closing my eyes.
Okay, salty halloumi cheese, grilled.
Go, you had me a halloumi.
Okay, and it's drizzled with olive oil.
Right.
And alongside that,
Mm-hmm.
a nice, crisp, refreshing glass of Sauvignon Blanc
So,
from the slopes of the Lebanon mountains.
I can only take so much.
This is a taste of Lebanon you can recreate at home.
I love it.
It really is that perfect example of the magic when you pair wine with its culinary soulmate.
I'm ready to book my flight, but we've got a lot more ground to cover on this deep dive.
We do.
So stay tuned, because we're going to be back, and we are going to be talking about the modern Lebanese wine industry.
Yes.
From its challenges to its exciting rise on the global stage.
Can't wait.
We're back, and I have to say, reading through Vinos du Libano, I'm really struck by the resilience of their wine industry.
Oh, absolutely.
All the challenges, and they're still thriving.
It's really a testament to their dedication.
Absolutely.
If you can imagine for a moment trying to maintain this centuries-old tradition in the midst of political instability, economic hardship.
Right. It hasn't been easy.
It has not been easy.
And it makes you appreciate the wines even more.
Oh, for sure.
When you think about what went into making them.
Yeah, you can taste it in the glass.
You get the passion. And Vinos du Libano does a really good job of not just dwelling on the struggles, but also highlighting their rise on the global stage.
It's an exciting time.
It is exciting.
I think for so long it was kind of a hidden gem.
Right.
Only people in the know really knew about it.
So what's driving this surge in popularity?
I think part of it is the quality is undoubtedly there, but I think there's also a growing thirst for something new.
Yeah.
People are kind of tired of the same old grapes from the same old places.
Yeah, we want a story.
They want a story.
And Lebanon has that.
They have a story.
They've got that in spades.
And Vinos du Libano really emphasizes this focus on sustainability.
Okay, talk about that, because that's huge right now.
It is, and it's not just a trend for them, it's a necessity.
Right.
It's really about maintaining that balance between their industry and the environment.
That makes sense.
And they're doing a lot. They're doing organic farming, biodynamic farming, water conservation techniques, renewable energy sources.
That's fantastic. So let's give some practical advice.
Okay.
Because if someone's listening to this, they're intrigued.
Yes.
But where do you even begin?
It can seem daunting, right?
What advice do we have?
I always say don't be afraid to explore.
I love.
Talk to your local wine merchant.
Yeah.
Do some research online.
Okay.
There are so many Lebanese wines out there just waiting to be discovered.
So use this as a jumping off point.
Yeah.
But are there any specific producers or regions that you recommend kind of seeking out first?
You know, there are a few.
Okay.
I always say start with the classics.
Okay.
Look for bottles from Chateau Moussard.
Okay.
Kafraya, Kasara.
So these are all pretty well known.
Yeah, these are wineries with a long history. Their wines are going to be more readily available.
Yeah.
That's a great way to get your feet wet.
So we've picked our bottle.
Okay.
Now what?
Now it's time to enjoy it.
I love it.
But I always say engage all your senses.
Okay, how do we do that?
Don't just guzzle it down.
Okay.
Take a moment.
Okay.
Appreciate the color.
Okay.
Look at the clarity. Give it a swirl.
Yes.
What do you smell?
Okay.
And then take a sip.
Yeah.
Let it linger on your palate.
Yes.
Think about the flavors, the texture.
Okay.
Wine tasting is a journey.
And it should be.
It should.
Speaking of journeys, we talked about food pairings.
Yes.
But I imagine that these wines are pretty versatile.
They are.
What would you pair them with?
Well, the reds, those especially ones with a little bit of spice,
Okay.
you can go with grilled meats, lamb chops, steak.
That sounds delicious.
And then the whites,
Okay.
think creamy pasta dishes,
Okay.
roasted vegetables,
Nice.
and even some spicy Asian cuisine.
I never would have thought of that.
It's amazing, right?
That's really interesting.
How these different flavor profiles can complement each other.
Okay, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yes.
any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are ready to go on their Lebanese wine adventure?
I would say just go beyond the familiar.
I love that.
Don't be afraid to ask questions
Okay.
at your local wine shop. Do your research.
Yep.
And be open to trying something new.
Because you never know.
You never know.
It could become your new favorite.
You could discover all sorts of new things.
So we've done the history,
The terroir.
the grapes,
The
pairings,
Yeah.
but now we got to get philosophical.
Okay, I like it.
Because we need to talk about the so what.
Okay.
Stay with us. Welcome back. We've journeyed through the vineyards of Lebanon,
Yeah.
explored the history, we've practically tasted the wines,
It's been a journey.
but now we have to talk about the so what.
Right. Why does it all matter?
Because at the end of the day, we're not just talking about a beverage here.
No.
We're talking about a region, a culture
Right, the legacy.
that's been poured into every bottle for centuries.
When you think about it that way, it's
Yeah.
really amazing.
What can we take away from all of this?
I think for me, and you kind of touched on this earlier,
Okay.
it's about connecting us to something bigger than ourselves.
Okay, unpack that for me.
So you're tasting these wines.
Yeah.
You're tasting the influence of the Romans who planted vines there all those years ago.
Right, the history.
The impact of all these different empires and cultures that have come through.
Mm-hmm.
The dedication of the people who've kept these traditions alive.
Through so much.
Through incredibly challenging times.
Right, and that really comes through when you read Vinos du Libano.
Oh, it does.
You really get a sense of that history when you read it.
And those struggles make you appreciate it even more.
I think for me, and you know this about me,
Yeah.
I love discovering something new.
Yes, you do.
It's not just what's in the glass.
It's the journey.
It's the journey that it represents.
And I think that's so key.
Especially in a world that feels so saturated with the same things.
It is so easy to fall into those ruts, right?
So this is like, I imagine walking into a bookstore.
Yes.
With endless rows of stories.
But in this case, they're all bottled up.
They're all swirling in your glass?
Exactly.
That's such a good way to put it. I love that.
And just like a good book, right?
Mm-hmm.
A good wine can stay with you long after.
Absolutely.
It can spark a conversation.
It can change what you cook.
It can.
It can make you book a trip.
It can. That's what happened to me.
There you go.
I read Vinos du Libano and I was like, I'm going to Lebanon.
You're going to Lebanon. Amazing.
I have to try these wines.
And maybe it's just as simple as finding a new favorite bottle to share.
Ah.
With friends.
It's a win-win.
And that's really what this deep dive is all about, right?
Absolutely.
We're sparking curiosity.
Getting those wheels turning.
We want you to discover things.
Open those doors and see what's there.
So to our listeners out there,
yes,
next time you're browsing the wine aisle,
yes,
don't just reach for what you know.
Branch out.
Take a chance.
Why not?
On a bottle from a region you've never explored before.
Exactly. Life is too short to drink boring wine.
I love that. That's a great motto.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And until next time.
Until next time.
Happy exploring, everyone.